Hey guys, I'm AJB, but you can call me Adam, and in today's video I'm going to be showing you a couple of do's and don'ts about shading. First things first, I'm going to go over the materials that I use. I use a HB pencil. This one's good because it's not too dark, so you can do the lighter shades. Then we have a 2B, which is also good. It's a little bit darker. Then we have the mechanical rubber, but I don't use this in this video because the electric one does it a lot quicker and it's a lot better in my opinion. So this is the electric one. It's really good. It's battery powered. So now we're getting onto the blending stumps. So blending stumps just make things a lot smoother when you're shading. I recommend getting a good pack of these blending stumps because they really do come in handy. These usually come in a pack of 3 to 5, so it's really worth the investment. Then we have the trusty pencil sharpener. This always comes in handy, let's face it, because you always need a good sharp pencil. Then we have this thing called a kneaded eraser. It's basically like blue tack, but it's for lifting graphite off the paper. Right, so first off, we're going to be using the HB pencil, and we're going to start the don'ts. So for the don'ts section, we're only going to be using straight up and down motions for the shading, and this isn't usually very good to use. This is just because it looks very blocky and kind of bland. For the do section of this part, we're going to be using a circular motion. This basically makes it less blocky and it makes it a lot smoother looking. You can still use the up and down motions, but this one works a hell of a lot better. This is just because it doesn't overlap as bad. Like when you're using the other one, it overlaps and you get this horrible line when you're overlapping, and with this one it doesn't really do it. You can also go over this with a blending stump to smooth it out even further. So if you do end up getting a line, you can just smooth it out so you can't see it. But using the blending stumps is definitely recommended because it does look a lot nicer. But the blending stump is useful for things like skin tones because it looks a lot smoother and you get the nice like faded effect. Whereas with this one, it's kind of hard to get the gradient effect. This is simply just because it's blocky. So what I'm doing now is what not to do for an eye. This is going to be super rushed, so this is going to turn out horribly. So please do not copy what I'm doing now. This is simply just to show you what not to do. For this, we're only using the up and down motion to show you that you can't really use it for something like this. With the circular motion, you can shade in the lines a lot easier. So with this, it's going to be kind of rough and not very nice. So like I said, this is just the don'ts. Please do not copy this. As you can see here, the eyelashes don't look like eyelashes, they look just like lines, you know, they don't really look like anything. So now on to the do's. The do's are still quite rushed. If you want a detailed eye drawing, look at my previous video because I went through how to draw one. As this is only my second video, I still have a lot to learn, so if there's anything you'd like me to cover, just leave it in the comments. So here we're just outlining the ridge of the eye. Now we're going to hold the pencil towards the back because this gives us a lighter hold and it makes it so there's less pressure on the tip of the pencil. It also means that you're using more of the surface area of the graphite tip. This means shading will be a lot quicker and a lot smoother. After all, we are covering smooth shading. The shading is definitely key for this, so just take your time with this. Because if you rush it, the piece won't turn out how you want it to. The circular motion does take a lot more time to do, but that's simply because you're trying to make it as smooth as you can. So here we're using the kneaded eraser, and we've ripped a little piece off and kneaded the tip so it's a point, so we can dab or scrape along the pieces where we want it to be light. This is making the illusion that we talked about last video. Sorry about the camera angle here, you can't really see what I'm doing, but basically what I'm doing is scraping the little point across the white bits. This is to make the highlights. Then we're going in with the fine-tipped blending stump. This is simply because we want the crisp lines but as smooth as possible. So now we're going back in with the 2B and we're going to go around the lines again because we just went over with the blending stump, so we're going to tidy things up a little bit. This also adds towards the illusion, so this is going to really come in handy. When you're doing things like this, you need to make sure that the outlines are crisp and make sure that your pencil is nice and sharp. Now we're going back in with the fine-tipped blending stump. So now that we've got a nice fine tip, we are going to start the eyelashes. So these need to have a nice curve, so the further to the right you get, the more curved it needs to be. This is so that the illusion is possible. It's quite hard to explain, but if you can see what I'm doing, I'm going from more to the left and then swooping up to the right. There's a specific thing we're trying to achieve here, and that is called volume. And if you don't know what that means, it can mean a couple of things, but in makeup terms, it means that your eyelashes basically stick up more, and they also have a gradual curve, and that's what we're doing here. The bottom set of eyelashes are slightly different because they curve anti-clockwise instead of clockwise. This just adds to the illusion because it makes it look like there's a lip in the eye. So now we're going in with the kneaded eraser to make the lip in the eye more pronounced, adding to the illusion more. So now we're going to crisp up the lines where the folds in the eye are. This also adds the depth that we need. And now we're going to start working on the crease in the bottom of the eye. Once this line is done, we get to go in with a small blending stump and smooth out the lines that we've just done. So blending stump, remove the graphite and smooth it around the paper, and you can shade with it. When you're drawing an eye, you always need to make sure that there's a little curved line where the shading is. This is the line that I'm talking about here. This is another one of those small details that adds a lot of depth. This gives the illusion of the face. If you find yourself enjoying this video, please leave a like and comment down below. Let me know what you think about these videos. I really enjoy making them for you, so I hope you enjoy them too. And if you're new around here, please feel free to subscribe and turn on the notification bell because it really does help, because then you'll see my videos when I post. So now what we're going to be doing is we're making a small circle and we're going to make it look like it's popping off the page. So here we're doing the don'ts. So please do not copy this one. We're still using the up and down motion, so it's not going to look great. You can use this method if you want, but it's not recommended because it'll look really blocky and slightly untidy as well, so you really don't want that when you're shading. But as you can see, I've spent absolutely no time on this at all, so this is really rushed. But I also realised I didn't do a perfect circle because I am one of those artists that really struggle with circles for some very strange reason. I don't know why, it's just difficult. As you can see by the hand gesture I just made, I'm frustrated. So now we're on to the do's. We're going to use the sketch lines to do a nice round circle. Then we're going to go in with the small blending stump and we're going to put a light layer of graphite on there. If you've just bought a brand new pack of these blending stumps, I'm going to show you a little trick that we can use to use this graphite to our advantage. The way we're going to do this is by scribbling on a little bit of the blank paper and we're going to go over it with the blending stump. This gets a little bit of the graphite onto the end of the blending stump, so when you go over it again it makes it slightly darker, giving the effect of a shadow. This is going to play a key role in the effect that we're trying to achieve here, as once again we're doing an illusion. So now we've got the nice little bit of graphite on the page. We are going to go back around the outline to make it slightly darker, once again using the 2B. Now we're going to go around the light side and force out a highlight by blending it in with the darker part. So now we're going to leave a little circle and make it even lighter with the electric eraser, and that becomes our forced highlight. Then we're going in with the big blending stump, which is really dark because I've been using it a lot recently, and making it even darker around the other side, creating the shadow effect. Then we can go in with the actual shadow underneath like we did on the other one when we've done this little bit. This gives it more depth and makes it look like it's 3D. That's the hardest part out of the way, so now you're basically done. I know that I've already said, but if there's anything that you would like me to cover, please leave it down in the comments because it will help me make videos for you guys. So no matter what, if you are a new artist or a learning artist, then I can help you guys do whatever you need to do. I just want to help like I was helped when I started. But as always, have a good one guys, enjoy.